Good afternoon, everybody. It's about 3:30 on the 11th of April. Back over to get some work done. I think I'm going to concentrate this evening on welding for the most part. I got a brand new bottle of weld gas, good 2,000 pounds worth of CO2 argon 2575 mix. So I'm ready to go there. On the way to me from Amazon is a DeVilbiss finish line gun, FLG 670. That's on the way. I found a paint shop that seems to be a couple of good guys in there. I talked to for a while on Monday, so hopefully that'll be my resource for getting paint. But I decided to go with the DeVilbiss, and I'll show you that when I get it. But anyway, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take care of this spot here on the bulkhead and get that peeled back and see how much repair I got to do there. If you remember, I stole part of it off the black car. Not probably as much as I could have taken, but still probably enough. So I got to separate those pieces. I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to take care of the bracket down there for the body. I'm going to flip her up and take care of the two brackets for the outriggers that I talked about the last time when I was putting the car on and off. And odds and ends, other than that, fill in little holes here and there that I'm sure I'll find. So that's on the agenda for tonight, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is take the got the paint stripper in here. I don't really want to take any metal, and just see what the extent of the rust is here. Again, I got like a little divot in here, so if I don't pound that out, I'll replace it with new metal. Obviously, I worked on this when I first got the car just to kind of clean it up. All right, let's see what it looks like. All right. Well, with the exception of that quarter there, it actually doesn't look too bad. There's a couple pits here that are probably a little deeper than they could be. Let me see what the new piece is going to look like here. Alright, so I definitely have enough. What I'll probably do is come to about here, and I'm just going to cut straight across, and then come to about here, and I'm just going to tack that whole piece out. That'll take care of my divot. Still have to separate this piece, obviously, but that'll take care of that whole divot there. Hopefully the underneath of it here is in good shape, and I'll get that drilled out. I'm going to use the spot weld cutter to do that. If you remember, I'm not real crazy about this thing because it puts a huge hole in, but I'm crazy about it for cutting metal because it's really good at getting through the holes. But since this top piece is going to be the scrap, and I want to save the bottom, this is a perfect use for this, because it'll prevent me from drilling through using a regular drill bit to get these spot welds out. So it looks like I have several of them to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 10 or so, maybe 11 or 12. So I'm going to separate this piece of metal first, the patch piece, just to make sure that I know what I've got here and in the shape that it's in, and I'll do that off camera. All right, I got the new piece liberated, I guess you could say. Not incredibly crazy the way it turned out. I had to lift up the seam here because I couldn't get the chisel in there without destroying it. So now I'm just going to take this cutter and go around, like I said, for the couple of the things that I got to cut out here, and hopefully it'll come off a little easier than that one did. Alright, so as you can see, pretty much, at least I think you did, as soon as I got through that last one, this pretty much came right up there. So, like I said, this spot weld cutter works great, but some of this is probably because I'm not that great of a welder, but these holes were just too big to reuse that piece of metal. So if you're scrapping the top piece, which is probably what you're normally going to do anyway, and you ran into that once or twice, it works really good. So I think I'm going to try a little trick here, see if I can get away with it. So obviously this piece is supposed to go on like this, where the hole lines up for the clutch master. I think what I'm going to do though is flop it like this and use the opposite side so that I get rid of those pits. So I'll treat this under here and paint it obviously and all that. But that way that'll give me a nice smooth pretty metal to play with there. So I thought that was a pretty good idea. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut right inside of these spot welds and just square it off, I think, with the little angle grinder here thing, cutter wheel thingamajig, and just cut it straight. So we'll see how that goes. Nothing underneath here, so I don't have any worries. I'll double check real quick, but there's nothing underneath the car in there that I need to worry about. Nope, no brackets or anything. So, but I am concerned about cutting into the firewall, so I want to keep it inside that area there. All right, I'm not exactly sure how thick it is here, but you can kind of see the outline, so to speak, of the underneath part. So I'll lightly cut this, but I'm not going to go that way all the way through much further. Alright, well, you can see there's obviously some corrosion here. Some of this is seam sealer with rust built into it. There. I'll zoom out here for you. So the other side is not too bad, except in that corner right there. So probably could have saved some metal, but again, I'm trying to get rid of this big pitted area and a little bit of the depression. So now what I'll do is I'll just clean this corner up. I'll use this obviously as my guide piece to trace the new one. And I'll get this all down to good metal here, get some of that seam sealer out of there, and keep going. Alright, so I'm a little concerned for the corrosion that's on that lip right here, right on the corner. Right under where, oh, sorry, get that out of here. Right under where that rust spot was, obviously. So that's probably a little thin if nothing else. So I'm going to take a look at maybe just cutting this lip off here and replacing it, or maybe going down a little bit, or maybe just not doing anything at all. I'm not sure, but it's a little beat up. So of course I have the black car's piece. Maybe I'll take a look at that. So this is the piece from the black car. See how that goes there? But this is the piece that I just bent. So yeah, mirror image. Not the right way. Not the right way. So, not real happy about that. So I'm going to have to grab another piece of metal here and go through the same thing. Alright, let's try this again. Another tip here, especially if you're going to want to paint this, clean all the paint off before you bend it. I learned that once. Obviously you want to get paint in there, so I took it down all to bare metal before you bend it here. Just kind of makes sense. Because it might be painful to get paint in there, at least nice and, or I mean, get paint off of there, I should say. You want to clean it of paint, because you're not going to really be able to get in those corners once you bend it over. So, kind of an obvious thing, but if you haven't done it before like me, sometimes you just don't always pick up on it. Alright, so instead of the shrinker, I want to use the stretcher because I want to go this way with the thing, right? So I want to bend it. I want to bend it out. So I have to come at it like this, and the stretcher is going to make it curve like this. At least I hope so. All right, so now I got the stretcher, and here the jaws will push out. So hopefully what that'll do is I'll put this in here, and that'll cause it to bow, and the curve will go like this. Like if I were to bend it in the center here. Alright, still going. Just kind of trimming it down as I go here. Bring it in a little bit closer to what the car's got. You do have to put some ass behind this. All right, so I got it. I'll come show you here. Camera off the car. All right, so that guy's gonna fit up pretty much right like that. All right, and if you can see here at the top, you can see where the metal is. I pretty much get all that cancer. So I'm gonna cut here, go down just a little bit, all the way across and up. I'm gonna avoid this seam in here if I can, so this may get a little undercut. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that yet. I don't wanna go all the way to that seam. We'll see how that goes. But, and I don't wanna go too deep either because there's no reason to. I might even try to sneak up in the crease a little bit more. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see how I'm going to cut this. So I don't really see a reason to cut actually down into the firewall. So I'm just going to try to sneak a quick cut around here and then see how it goes. With this, I guess probably I may not have had to use the shrinker stretcher. That was fun. It is fun. So there's that. And it did cost me, $100. So I'm just going to try to cut in real quick, cut around this. That's going to be a little tricky to try to save that metal and just try to save the top of that flange, and that way I don't have to worry about that seam in there. So we'll see how this goes here. All right, well, that's what inexperience gets you. So that's it. Just gonna weld that guy in there. So just this little itty bitty piece. I did all that work. Just that little itty bitty piece is all that's gonna go in there. But if I didn't want to figure out how to do this right, I wouldn't be in here doing it the way I'm doing it. So I'll get that ready to go. I'm not gonna weld it quite yet. I still got some cleanup. I still got to cut the other piece, get everything primed, obviously, all that kind of good stuff. And also, my half an hour is up, Ellen. So I gotta eat. But otherwise, we'll get back at it. All right. To make the top plate go on a little bit easier, so that I can see the outline here that I need to for the placement of the top plate, I'm going to go ahead and weld in the this little corner bracket here that I made. And that took me the last 2.5 hours to make that. Yeah, that guy. Get that welded in, and then continue on. Alright, you can see that I'm rising. That was pretty ugly. Alright, we got that welded in sloppily, but we'll go through. Oh, got a couple holes in there. Let me fix those holes real quick. Then I'll go through and grind it down. So we got that, good enough. So I'll hit that with some weld through primer here after I get this piece fit up, because I want to get this in there properly fit before I start really getting in there, because I gotta bang this flush here. So. All right, everybody, it's about 10 o'clock, or excuse me, 8 o'clock, and I'm calling it a night. So I didn't get anywhere near as far as I wanted to get tonight, but that's okay. I did get this repair done, kinda. It's definitely not the best looking thing. Folding that edge over didn't go quite the way I thought it would because the lip started to bend. I guess I didn't really think about that, and I didn't stick anything up there. But I could try to straighten that out and try that again. But I might just leave it. I don't know. It doesn't look so hot. Anyway, there's a lot of waves. There's a high spot here, low spots here as the metal cooled and everything like that. So I don't know if you can really see that, but so yeah, not great, but we'll probably revisit that. Anyway, so that was about it. Blew a lot of time at the beginning, like I said, on making a piece I didn't really need to make, but so be it. So another lesson learned, and you were along for the ride, so to speak. So anyway, that's it for me for the week. I'll be back over here this weekend. I got my Calculus 2 midterm on Monday, so I've been starting to study for that. No homework this week, thankfully. But the fam is going out of town for about a week, so I'll get a little bit more time over here than I would otherwise, with the exception of that calculus studying. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks for your continued support. I really do appreciate it. And I like all the good comments and everything. It's fun interacting with you guys, like I've said before. Thanks for liking. Please visit the website. I am now up to date with the exception of this write-up. I am now up to date, www.roundtailrestoration.com. And outside of that, I'll see you on Saturday, I think. And hopefully I'll get some much more progress done. So have a good night. Good rest of your week. Cheers.